What's up, guys? This is gonna be a little weird video. They're all gonna be weird, okay? Whatever. But this one in particular is gonna be talking about tricks that you've kind of tricks that you've already started to embark on, except, you're not really confident. You're kind of scared of, like, if it's too big, if it's too much of a task to handle. So yeah, I'll kind of just walk you through my personal experiences of overcoming, kind of like all that crazy stuff that goes into a trick that just you don't feel like you can do. So for starters, in my opinion, I feel like you should always have a decent base of hard tricks that you're trying. So let's say for a 3-2-1 tap, right? You should have, like, just for an example, like, I don't, like, if you disagree with this, that's totally fine. But like, just for example, let's say if there's a 2-tap juggle, 2-tap juggle spike, right? So that trick would very much cross over into the 3-2-1 tap, because you're getting your 2 taps, your tosses down, you're getting kind of like, very comfortable with the taps, which is a very important part of 3-2-1 tap, because it's all about, just a tap, right? So it's very, very important that you have a pretty, if not relatively strong foundation before you embark on a very hard trick. So if you are attempting a very hard juggle trick, you want to be at least pretty good at juggles and have a pretty good background of understanding, the concepts, the little kind of like mind hints, like, keeping that rhythm. So let's say you have the foundation, but you're taking that next big step. Okay, so let's say you've like messed around with like goon, re-goon, for example. So just like doing a goon circle and catching it and throwing it back into re-goon, and you're trying to get the 1-2-3 goon. Okay. Now, I haven't even done this trick, so it's hard for me to speak on credibility when I haven't even landed that trick. But I know the process of getting into that tough trick, okay? The main thing is knowing it's all a process and knowing that that process is not going to be linear at all, okay? There are times where I've stood on tricks and I'm being like, okay, we'll see how this goes, right? And you think, like, for every hour you put in, you're going to see this, like, direct line of, like, how this is going to go. That's never the case, okay? One of the tricks that I'm really proud of is triple Ken flip juggle times 10, so just 10 times, 10 of those to spike. That was a crazy trick, and when I started, I had a pretty good juggle foundation, but it wasn't till, like, that foundation that I wanted. Like, I was only doing, like, 3 or 4 juggles, like, with triple Ken flips, okay, to spike. So it's all about your perseverance, a pretty strong mindset, and just having the faith that you'll get the trick. Like, in my mind, in that moment of grinding for that trick, I knew I was going to get it. There was no excuses. There was no BS. There was no, like, oh, I don't have a good Ken. Like, I don't have a good setup. It was like, screw all that. I am going to land the trick, okay? And it's so important because that mindset will give you so much ability to grow. Right now, one of my main big trick goals that I plan on doing is 3-2-1 tap. So the biggest thing for me right now is literally just building a strong foundation, okay? Like doing the tap, juggle, times 3, like to spike, just kind of getting that same rhythm of like tap, swap, juggle, spike, okay? Same with like trip tap, swap, 2-tap, and then swap, spike, or swap, tap, juggle, spike. It's really just getting in the consistency and the comfortability that you need to land tricks. I'm gonna be very frank with you guys. This video is not for everybody, because there's a lot of people that will think of like a big trick that they want to hit, but they'll never put in the work in. You know what I mean? Which is fine, and that's that's totally cool if you want to play Kendama how you want. I couldn't commend you more for trying that. Okay, and that's super, super cool. Do whatever you want, play however you like, and that is completely fine with me. Okay. But if you're really trying to push your limit and push your boundary of what you think you can be, you don't need to, but I would like if you would follow this video, because I think there's some truth into what I am saying right now. The best thing with this process, like the best aspect by far with this process, is once you do it your first time, okay, once you prove yourself that this is possible, like what I'm doing is possible, you'll never doubt yourself again, okay? Like the moment that you land a hard trick being like, okay, like I can do this, all right? That is like the biggest mental change of like, this is possible. Like I'm doing this, this is happening. It's pretty inspirational when you kind of get into it. I'm working at a trick right now where I never thought I'd do, but I'm getting kind of closer because I have the mindset of I'm going to land it. Same how the best of the best in the world that compete have a winning mentality. Like, they know they're going to win. There's no room for error. What they do is, top of the line. They know that they're going to be the best, and they're going to perform. They're very confident. You see that with LaMelo Ball in basketball, Michael Jordan in basketball, like all these players. And I want to say LaMelo Ball as a highlighted topic, because he plays very nonchalantly. I kind of follow Instagram, basketball, whatever that stuff is. So one of the biggest things that people talk about is how he just plays just chill. It doesn't look like he's trying. And it's because he knows that he's good and he knows that he's confident. He's not playing with any sense of urgency, okay? He put in the work, he put in the hours. And it's one of those things where when you're playing Kendama and you see the best of the best up there, they're not frantic, okay? They know, they've taken their time with the hours that people have not seen, okay? The best of the best players, nobody goes and says oh wow, when you're first starting, let's say for a perspective view, that someone that doesn't play Kendama or doesn't know the sport or know the hours, they would kind of look at the player and be like, oh, they're really good, they're super talented, right? That kind of that just firstly comes to mind. But Kendama players and basketball players, for that example, know how much hours it takes to get that good, okay? So it's all about putting in the hours that are just completely unnoticed, okay? This is for I would say this is for everything in life. Screw it, this is for literally everything. So yeah. But I really, really do want to just kind of retouch up on just the aspect of once you land a hard trick, once you kind of get over that big milestone, it's over. It's all you. Another aspect of Kendama that I think not a lot of people touch up on is blaming your setup. It's normally never your setup. We see Takuya, even Miguel, a bunch of other players that regularly use Ozoras, or pretty low quality Kendamas, and are just so good, okay? So it'll never be your setup. There's, in my opinion, there's no excuse. Obviously, you want to have a good setup, right? But if you don't, you can always make do. You can always make do. That's what I firmly believe in. Okay. Now, obviously, we're gonna have our preferences. I'm gonna have my preferences, and which kind of makes me a hypocrite, right? Because I have I say these things, except I have these nice setups, right? So I definitely am not disregarding my personal opinion on this. Keeping the mindset that you can always get better is extremely important to your progress and to just landing hard tricks, because that you can get to that level. There's having the mentality instantly of oh, I'll just never be that good, right? It's very easy to adopt, because it's not that we see it so much, but the skill level is rising at such a soaring constant. You know what I mean? In this past year, right? Ryoga has pretty much almost doubled his skill set, and it's not that he wasn't amazing a year ago. It's just that he really came into the light of social media and going into more comps, being more confident, adapting a stronger mentality in comps. So yeah, so it's really easy to get unmotivated and really caught up in all of that stuff around you. But this stuff around you should not affect you, and if it does, that's life, right? But it's another way to grow, right? We have all this stuff, right? And so we have to kind of overcome it with ourselves. So just once you overcome that ability to see past other people's thoughts and just skill set, mindset, once you kind of start almost kind of staying in your own lane mentally, not I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way, or at least I'm not trying to say, but all I'm trying to say is when you stay you're in your own lane, you're in your own mind, okay? You're in your mind and you're trying to win, and that's a really, really good thing. And you're not looking at anybody else. You're just thinking about your work, your game, your focus. It's all amazing, and I couldn't recommend that more. So yeah, all right, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna land a yank spike on a stringless setup. Let's go. All right, see you.